Hi everyone, I just wanted to go through a few things and welcome you to the class. So this summer we'll be doing human growth and development, and I'm just gonna kind of just navigate a few things while I'm kind of introducing you to the syllabus. So the first thing, if you're new to online learning or my RCC or anything like that, first thing you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to jump into that my RCC and then jump into our course. So there it is, SSI 2092A. And then you're going to go over to this left-hand column where it says syllabus. You're just going to click that. And now we're going to just download the syllabus. And this video will actually be posted here as well. So you'll be able to see this video as well. Um, so, um, to start off, just because I know what the syllabus says, it starts off by introducing me. And my name is Professor Monique Selden-Riley, and I will be instructing you this semester. My email address is listed. My Google Cell is listed. I'm going to be honest. Lately, I have not been great with my Google Cell. But I am available Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. But if I don't answer the phone or whatever, please leave a message with your name so I know exactly who's calling, how to call them back, all the rest of that. I'll get back to you within 24 business hours, okay? So if you leave me a message on Friday at 4 p.m., because of the weekend, you should expect to hear back from me by Monday at 4 p.m. You see? Anytime we'll meet, it'll be virtually, by phone, whatever. My office hours are by appointment, so we'll just make appointments if you need to meet. And in terms of this class, human growth and development, we're looking at lifespan development. So from womb to tomb, from the time that somebody is conceived to the time that they die. So we're going to be looking at different aspects of that. Okay, we're going to be looking at all the stages, all the theories on that. It's going to be a ton of information, and I'm not going to lie. Because this is a summer course and it is a very short course, we're essentially taking 15 weeks of class and smushing it down. So we'll be, instead of covering like one thing per week, we'll be covering about 3 things per week, which is going to be a lot of topics to cover. Okay. So my suggestion to you guys just coming in, just like off rip, is utilize those videos. I make YouTube videos, like if you're in your car or you're just home cooking or whatever, throw it on and just listen. Because the slides, I don't require textbooks because I don't believe in like paying for extra stuff. And so I provide you guys with videos and the slides. The slides are essentially what the publisher of the book that I used to use uses, and then the videos just kind of accompany those. So if there's like bullet points or something that needs further explanation, then you got that. So the book that I used to use is this one right here, this Experience Human Development book. And it's a good book, but you don't have to pay for it. If you're one of those people who you're very tangible, you need your books, like that's how I am as a student, then you might just want to jump online, go get an older version, whatever you got to do. So the course objectives is going to be, we're going to learn to compare and contrast like lifespan theories, human development, all that, talk about different characteristics, look at biological, emotional, social, and cognitive changes through various stages of development. Going to be looking at the sociocultural context in our environments and things like that. So it's going to be just a ton of different aspects of looking at kind of the same information. But we'll get through it. I know it might seem overwhelming, but we'll get through it. In terms of the student code of conduct, I really only have like 2 rules, like be familiar with your handbook and all that. But essentially, I want you to be nice to one another. You guys won't have much interaction because we'll be meeting asynchronously online. So there will be no time when we actually meet, right? But so just be nice to one another through like your discussion posts and stuff like that. And then don't cheat. I mean, there's there's always a way to cheat, but there's really not a way to cheat in my classes. I try and eliminate whatever, but at this point, I guess theoretically you could steal someone's work and put it up there or whatever, but like I'm fine with people working together. I'm fine with using the internet, whatever sources you have. Just keep it as honest as possible. Make sure that if you're gonna use somebody else's work, just cite it. Like it's fine. And we'll go over how to do that in future videos and things like that. if you, like, say you get really confused in my class or something like that, and you feel like you need like additional services or whatever like that, you can go to tutoring services and you can receive help from them. They have like professional tutors there who will help you get through the work. However, I prefer that you come to me first because I'm instructing the course. I kind of know what I expect, things like that. But let's say you don't want to, and that's okay. You can always go to them and book an appointment, and their appointment address is right there. Also, if you have a disability or feel like you might have a disability, you can always access resources at accessibility services. Um, and there is the attendance policy of this class. I'm not going to make you guys come to class or anything like that. Like I said, it's an asynchronous online class. But what I will say is that I would like you to check your stuff online regularly, like probably like 3 times a week minimum, right? So I want you to make sure that you're checking those class announcements, your emails, your text, your coursework page. And the reason why I say your text is because I have an extra credit assignment in here for you guys to sign up for the Remind app, which is a really good app that I promise I won't harass you, but I just, hey, listen, don't forget homework is due on such and such a date, or just reminders, random things like that. Okay. And I'll never send you an individual text, only individual emails. Um, so if I'm sending you something, it's gonna be like just almost kind of like a notification, like, hey, listen, such and such is going on, whatever, right? Also, if you have not signed up for RAVE, which is the college's emergency notification system, I suggest you do so. If you go right on the home page, you scroll down a little bit, it's right there. You just click on there. And what it does is it sends you emails, text, and calls if there's an emergency at the college. And not just weather emergencies. Sometimes there are other types of emergencies related to like the year before last, we had like a ton of elevator issues, or there was like a fire at one point, so just different things like that to kind of, know what's going on at the college. And this is another thing that really they don't utilize this and like send you a bunch of like crazy emails and sweating you and all that. They don't do that. So again, we're meeting asynchronously online, so we'll not meet in person at all. And I do have these pre-recorded lectures that you guys can watch. Like I mentioned, they're on YouTube. Um, and just make sure that if you need to talk to me or something like that, just schedule up a time with me. I'm fine. I meet with students. It's fine. Um, and like I said, I get back to people within like 24 hours. And your work should get turned over and get returned back to you within a good amount of time. So like maybe like a week or so. So it's not going to be like one of those things where it's the end of the semester and you're like, oh, I don't know how I did. Right? Like there will be an ongoing, assessment. That way you can know how to do on the next thing, right? Or what you need to change or whatever. So I put this section in here about professionalism because I'm noting that more times than not, students are having a hard time when it comes to getting their needs met because of things that have to do with professionalism and not to do with their education or their abilities or whatever. So I have provided you guys with like a professional etiquette guide, as well as a class policies guide that I really want you guys to look over and kind of just assess. See where you guys stand, see what you need to change on, just like skills for the future almost. So like an example of that is the fact that um, emails just have to contain the actual class it's in, right? Or which is that SSI 2092A, right? But I want you to make sure that you include the whole thing in the subject line, right? Because I need to know who this is, where they're coming from, especially because we're not meeting in person, right? Or even just saying, hey, Monique, like at the beginning of an email, just a greeting or closing, like just simple things like that that a lot of people don't know. Because if you're not told, like, how are you supposed to know, right? So, let me see. In terms of how we're grading, 50% discussion, posts, and responses, and 50% quizzes. Now, what I will say on top of that is I use a traditional grading scale, so you guys can see this on your own. But any assignments are to be turned in on the day that they're due. I do accept things up to 3 days late. Typically, that would be a little bit longer for like your discussion poster, your written assignments, and things like that. I don't accept any late quizzes. But because again, this is such a short semester, 3 days is kind of my max because I got to get things back to students quickly, right? And 5% will be deducted from the late any delayed discussion post for every day that they're late. Okay, so if something is due on Saturday and you turn it into me on Sunday, I will deduct 5%. Okay, you turn it in on Monday, that's 5 plus 5, right? So 10%, right? So just keep that in mind. And the late policy is strictly enforced, so just please respect it. Please don't email me like, oh my God, end of the world happened, you know, because we knew these assignments were coming and things like that. Students are going to be evaluated on their ability to address those course topics as well as meet the rubric requirements, which we'll go over later. But so if I ask you in a discussion post, if I'm asking you 3 different questions, I'm not expecting you to answer one or whichever one you feel like, like you have to answer all 3. Especially again, this is a shortened class, so we have things that are smushed into 1 week, right? So keep that in mind. All discussion posts, like your initial post, if I ask you a question, that is due on Wednesday, but then I'm expecting you to respond to at least one other classmate, and that is due on Saturdays, okay? Another thing that's due on Saturdays is going to be your quizzes, any extra credit assignments, things like that. But not the last Friday of, not the last Saturday, because the semester actually ends on a Friday, so it'll be due on that Friday. All right. Please reach out to me before if you're gonna miss any deadlines or something like that. Don't wait until the day of. We know about these. I'm opening these assignments on the 3rd, I think they're all open, and your first assignment doesn't start until the 10th. So what that means to me is you have a pretty good amount of time to get everything in. So just keep that in mind. So here's the tentative teaching schedule, or assignment schedule, however you want to put it. You can see like in the beginning, the first week of class, because it's only like a half a week or something, I have like an introduction post, tell me about yourself, that type of stuff. There's also a syllabus in my RCC quiz, which is going to go over those things like the syllabus, right? Your course syllabus. It's going to go over how to navigate my RCC. So like the little things I'm showing you in the videos and things like that. And then also there's another assignment that goes over the Remind app. So I want you guys to sign up for the Remind application. That's extra credit as well. And then there's a self-care post, which is another extra credit assignment. And that's pretty much like, hey, what'd you do for self-care? Now, for those of us who don't know what self-care is when you do something for yourself that is just for you, and it is like just so good for your mental health. And it's not about hygiene. It's not about taking care of your kids. It's not about doing any type of chores or reading or homework or this or that. It's literally about doing whatever makes you happy. So if sitting in front of Netflix with a bowl of popcorn makes you happy, if going for a bike ride makes you happy, if gardening makes you happy, like just write about it. And then I expect you guys to just respond to another classmate. It's really important for you guys to do those assignments. It's optional, obviously, but if you can. So the next week we really get into like the meat and potatoes of the class. Again, I would use those YouTube videos and things like that to kind of navigate the class, but you're doing 3 chapters. So you're going to be going over the study of human development, which kind of sets a foundation, theory and research, which is also foundational. But then you start talking about forming a new life, which is like we're talking about conception, right? Um, then you have the discussion post, which now you have 3 different topics, right? So you're going to have a topic discussion post on each one of those 3, and then you'll have a quiz, okay? And quizzes are, except for your last one, which is a little shorter, um, it's 25 questions, multiple choice, open book, open resources, open everything. Um, and unlimited time. Let me see what else. They are I give you 3 attempts and I take an average out of all of them. So if you got a 50% on one and 100% on the other, then you're going to meet right in the middle of those 2 at 75%, okay? Um Let me see what else. So yeah, that we've kind of followed that pattern throughout the whole course. But this last week, like I said, is a little different just because the week ends on a Friday. So although things are going to be due on Wednesdays, the second part of those posts are going to be due on Friday. And there's another self-care post, which is also extra credit. So I hope this kind of clarifies what this class is about, what we'll be doing, the expectations, what you can expect from me, what I'll expect from you, all that good stuff. And please just let me know if you have any questions. Do not hesitate to reach out. I'm kind of always available. Like I said, Google Sales is not the greatest. If you want to reach me, your best bet is email. Um, so I guess that's it. Thanks for listening, guys. I look forward to a great semester.